Hey there, we're Nigel and Sue.
And we are right here in Fremantle.
In this episode, I spend a night alone stealth camping in Perth waiting for Nigel to return. And then we play tourist for a day, checking out the sights of Fremantle. We visit the beach, the historic city centre, a couple of museums, 2 jails and 2 breweries. Good morning, friends. So I have just woken up in this, I guess it's a stealth spot. Seeing that regular spot that we used to overnight, the little unofficial free camp, has now been closed down here in Perth. There is another little spot that we've used once or twice, and I think everybody has moved down here because it was quite a few cars when I arrived last night. It's down near the naval base. So today I think I'm just going to go back and just hang out there and get some work done while I wait for Nigel. So he's not due to get back till about 10 o'clock tonight. I'm making a cup of tea before I go, which is a bit naughty in a stealth spot, but I don't really think it's that stealthy. I don't want to drive that far on a no caffeine. I'm sure some of you understand that. Okay, so it's time to head off from here. I'll try and show you roughly where we are. The really beautiful news is we're right next to the ocean. We're just on the side of the road by a train line. So the train line's just there. And the ocean's just beyond those bushes there. There are a lot of other people camped up here. Sadly, this place, which was once a great unofficial free camp, is now no longer, with these new parking restrictions that have come into effect. Anyway, today I'm just hanging out here at the van. Got to tidy up the van, make the bed. So the sun's about to set. I'm still here. I've just had this really mean old lady come past and tell me off for camping. I'm just sitting in my van with the door open working. And you're actually allowed to park here between 5 a.m. and midnight. And I told her I was just parking and she yelled at me and told me I was camping. So I'm feeling a bit yucky now. Anyway, Nigel's flight has been delayed somewhat, so he hasn't actually taken off yet. Looks like it could be quite a late night tonight, and we still have to find somewhere to stay. Good morning, friends. We stayed in the most dodgy stealth spot last night. We're literally in a car park behind a bunch of shops, close to the airport. It was quite late when I picked up Nigel up last night, so we just wanted to find somewhere to sleep really quickly. It was fine here, but it's almost 7 o'clock in the morning now. We are going to hit the road. Today we're going down to Fremantle to do some sightseeing down there. First view of the ocean on this sunny morning. We are starting our day in Fremantle at South Beach. We're going to have some breakfast and coffee here and go for a walk on the beach. Popular spot early in the morning. Nigel was just telling me people go swimming here. Not sure if we'll get a dive today, friends. Nigel assures me it's okay to leave my shoes. Hopefully they will be there when we come back. And there's people out there swimming, heaps of them. Kind of eroded.
We've made it from South Beach to C.Y. O'Connor Beach. It's named after a very famous Irish engineer who became very well known for his engineering achievements around WA, specifically the port area of Fremantle. He also wasn't real happy with the way his achievements were recognised. And in 1902, he got on his horse and rode out into the shore here and shot himself on top of his horse. Kind of sad, kind of tragic. It's a bronze statue. It was put here in 1999 and just sits there as a reminder of what took place.
We're going now to get coffee. So there's good long spots to park here opposite the Italian club. You can park a long vehicle because there's parallel parking. As we were walking up to grab coffee, we stopped to check out a few of the old buildings. There's some really interesting shops along here, including an old vintage record shop, and a beautiful used bookstore. So this here is Elizabeth's second-hand bookstore. What I really love is they have this blind date with a book. You buy one of these wrapped books without knowing what's inside. There's such a great collection of books here.
How's this place? It's such a cool place. It's only been here for a year. I overheard, yeah. Really cool.
How's the coffee night?
Really good.
Yeah, I love these like rustic brick. So we came to the Maritime Museum, but sadly the submarine, which Nigel wanted to see, is closed for refurbishment at the moment.
Well, I have seen it, and it's certainly worth doing, and I'm quite happy to do it again. It's very interesting. They walk you through, you do a tour, and learn all about life in the submarine during the war. It's pretty cool.
Is that Second World War, Nigel?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's pretty eye-opening. It's quite, you get quite claustrophobic in there, and it just really, first-hand gives you an impression of what it would have been like. Anyway, it's closed for 4 months, he was saying.
Next time.
Next time.
Just near the Maritime Museum, you'll also find the Gage Roads Brewery. So this is one of the old wool sheds, or I don't know, old something or other. They've changed it into the brewery, right on the harbour. So we're just looking at this old ship here, which is just outside of the brewery, wondering if this is the one we saw at Bustleton at the end of the jetty that day. So this is still a very busy working port. Quite a few container ships in here. A few more a bit further down. We even got to see a container ship going out right behind the bar. We then came across the Whalers Tunnel. This tunnel was built in 1837 to allow them to transport whale blubber and bits and pieces from the beach through to the town. There's all these little alcoves in the tunnel, but they're not lit up, so we can't tell what's really going on. This is the other side of the tunnel, and we come out at Bathers Beach. We then climbed these stairs to the Roundhouse. So we're inside the Roundhouse. This is Western Australia's oldest public building, and it was built as a jail in 1831. Nigel's in a cell. I'm going to put him in the stocks in a minute. So this prison was designed as a panopticon, meaning there were 8 cells and the jailer would stand in the middle and he would be able to watch all of the prisoners around in their 8 cells at any one time. Sadly, there's a padlock on the stocks, so I can't put Nigel in there. However, one of the volunteer caretakers came out with a key to the padlock. In he goes.
Tight, isn't it?
Can't scratch my head.
You just got to put up with it.
That'd be the worst thing, wouldn't it? You
can't look up.
You gotta come scratch my head for me, Sue.
No. Next stop is the West Australia Shipwrecks Museum. So much for Captain Cook. I'm just blown away learning that this many Dutch ships landed on the shores of Australia in the 1600s. And yet at school, we just only learn about Captain Cook. They really just gloss over the fact that 300 years almost, 250 years before Captain Cook even came here, these Dutch were coming here quite regularly. Really nuts. This is the plate that Dirk Hartog left when he landed on what's now Dirk Hartog Island. And this one was left by de Vlaming in 1697. It was actually taken by the French back to Paris in 1818 and didn't come back to Australia till after the Second World War. The most famous wreck in the museum is the Batavia. In 1628, this ship left Amsterdam on its maiden voyage, headed for the Dutch East Indies, modern-day Indonesia. The ship was wrecked on a small chain of islands just off the coast of WA with around 300 survivors. What followed is one of the worst tales of maritime history. The captain left in one of the smaller boats to seek help, and the man he left in charge staged a mutiny and massacred many of the other survivors, including women and children. Some women were kept as sex slaves. Eventually the captain came back and executed the mutineers. 2 of them, who were convicted of minor crimes, were marooned on the Australian mainland, thus becoming the first Europeans to permanently inhabit Australia. This is part of the wreck here. We've just come back to the beach for lunch. Nigel decided he wanted to have a swim. You know what that means. He swam out to that pontoon, which is only about 20 metres off the shore. And because one brewery is never enough, this afternoon we are going to the Little Creatures Brewery. And I do think it's a bit mean that Nigel didn't let me have fish and chips at WA's #1 fish and chips, Cicerello's. Doesn't sound very fish and chipsy though, does it? So I'm having the Pacific Ale.
That's nice. Florally
No.
sort of,
Fruity number.
sort of fruit. Yeah.
Nigel's having a full pint of the hazy IPA, which is quite hoppy.
Cheers, friends.
Next stop is the Fremantle Jail. Big walls here at the jail.
Oh, yeah, I'll lose my treasures.
Uh-oh. Again, Nigel.
See ya.
Nigel, I can't believe this is the second jail we've been to in one day. First the Roundhouse and now the Fremantle Jail.
Yeah.
So I was also reading, this is one of WA's only World Heritage buildings. And it was used as the actual jail up until 1991.
Yeah, more modern day rascals.
I don't think they had the stocks here.
No.
Did they execute any prisoners here in WA, do you know?
In this particular prison,
Yeah.
we'll have to find out, mate. No, I don't know.
Because they did in Victoria and Kentridge. I'm trying to remember the
I'm
guys.
going to say yes, because I mean this prison's been around for how long? Or was around for how long? 100 years?
Yeah, I think so, something like that.
So you know they were executing.
Look at this imposing structure of the gates.
They're executing, you know, right up until the last guy they got.
So we have just signed up for the 3:30 Behind Bars tour. We're going behind the bars. Just about ready to start. The Behind the Bars tour was an excellent introduction to the jail. We walked through the kitchens, the exercise yards, and then into the cell blocks. And yes, they did execute prisoners here. Turn away for the next 10 seconds if you'd rather not see.
She nasty.
Many of the cells have been kept as they were during different periods of the jail's operation. It's so tiny. Even that's smaller than our van. My first thought looking at this cell, it's bigger than our van. Before the jail ceased operation, some of the inmates were allowed to decorate their cells with artwork they created. Some of them were quite good. Here's the container bow. We just got to work out how to get down to the parking. Our last stop this afternoon is going to be at the container bow. So we've come now to the container bow, the rainbow made out of containers, which obviously signifies Fremantle's importance as a port. We're wondering if it has anything to do with inclusivity, so the gay and lesbian community, with it being rainbow. I mean, it's a pretty cool, funky place. Anyway, we love it here.
Just kind of figure it symbolises the wharf, the port.
Yeah. That was our day in Fremantle. We finished our day with the drive out onto the breakwater where we watched the sunset. We hope you've enjoyed this trip to Fremantle. It's our favourite part of Perth. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and let us know what you thought of this video in the comments below. Thanks for watching and see you next time.